Hello, everybody. I'm Robin E, and welcome back to another episode of Aspire to Inspire. I am super excited today to have my guest in the building, y'all. If only y'all knew the journey, okay? If only y'all knew the journey. But he is doing amazing things in the community, really just raising the bar on what it means to have a community and a safe space, and just pushing health and wellness like never before. We have Bruce Wright in the building. Hello.
Hello. Peace and blessings.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, I just love you, Bruce, for one, because first off, you were somebody that was a big supporter of Robin E and Pillow Talk, when I first came out. But you've always just been a pillar of just health and wellness and just community and blackness, just all of these things.
Yes, well, thank you. Yes.
Yes.
It is my passion. Yeah, it definitely is what I've always loved to do. It is my way of life, just to live in a holistic lifestyle. I'm just trying to reconnect with my oneself and try to help others also reconnect with themselves as also.
I love that. Now, are you from Lake County? Like, grew up?
No, so I'm from the south side of Chicago, 43rd Street, low end. So that's where I'm originally from, born and raised. I lived up north for about 4 years as well, which did help to give me more of a diverse understanding from just being around different cultures. But my heart and my foundation comes from the south side of Chicago, 43rd, Inglewood. My people's originally from Stateway Gardens. So, we that's where we from, So that's where I moved up here about 15 years ago.
Okay. What was the decision to move here in Lake County?
My mother moved up here and she owned a daycare, and I had about 3 children at the time. And I was also starting over in life at that point, and it was economical sense for me to have free daycare at the time.
I ain't mad at that, okay? I'm definitely not mad at that. So growing up, were you always into holistic healing? Was that something that you were interested in, or was there a moment in your life where you really started taking that serious?
So, no, I would say just like most people, I ate whatever was given to me from my family. And no, I was not into holistic healing. I ate Flaming Hots. I ate at, at the normal, the Euro place. I'm eating Italian beef. So no, I'm not eating healthy at all. Most of the vegetables came out of can. That's just how you grew up.
Yeah.
Most of your food was in the pantry, right? Not a lot of fresh fruits, not a lot of gardens that were available at that time as far as community gardens. For me, it was 2 things. It's running your family, and and I think those things kind of just made me just more aware and conscious of what we put in our body and how it affects us. And then that's kind of started my journey on learning more about just health and wellness, because I wanted to be able to be a better father, and just to be more than just part of being a protector and provider is also being able to be provide that guidance. And that was important to me because I felt it was something I was lacking in. So it took me down that path of studying and just knowledge of self. As you do that, you just start learning bit by bit, little pieces. I started with a book called by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live, was the first book I had ever read that talked about how do you eat, how do you actually, what the things that are good for us versus the things that are not good for us. And I continued on that journey.
Nice. I love that. Breaking generational curses, I think, is very important, and health and wellness is a big, part of that too. Just knowing what your family had, how you can break that cycle. So I love how that, your family, that really kind of pushed you to dive into that. Right. So, a lot of people, when they're starting into holistic healing or just wanting to change their health, they don't really know like where to start. Where do I go first? So when you did your journey, what were some of the first things outside of that book that you did to kind of change your routine? Like, how did you do that?
Well, just like most people, and I started this journey, so we're talking 25 years ago. I stopped eating pork probably about even longer than that, maybe about 30 years ago. It was a book called The Jungle, and it talk about the meat packing industry in the back of the Yards neighborhood in the South Side. And being in that area as well, I used to smell the when you would go down 47th Street, you would smell the stench from the meat from the actual from the factory, and it just smelled like death. And then I was thinking, we eating that, we consuming that.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to say, well, you know what, I can't wait till I can get away from pork, right? So that was the first thing I eliminated from my diet. I eliminated pork with reading How to Eat to Live. You talk about the all the toxins that are in the pig, as well as just how it affects our body. And then that was the first thing I tried to remove. At that point, I really didn't have a clue. So like most people, I was eating a lot of pasta.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of plant-based products on the market.
Yeah.
It was drinking rice milk, and then tofu was supposedly great for us then. So I was just eating a lot of pasta, cheese, and bread. All right. And that was that, and a lot of fried rice. That was my diet. That's with beans. That's what it consisted of. But that was a lot of starch, a lot of sugars. So I really, while I wasn't eating the meat, I wasn't always getting the benefits of the nutrients, because I wasn't eating nutrients-rich food, with nutrient-dense food, I should say. So no, I really didn't have a clue. And seeming how most of my family, they would just eat traditional soul food. It wasn't much guidance there, and you didn't have your YouTubes and the different channels. You can just log on and look for this information. So I had to seek out different people that help. And one of those books was The African Holistic Health. All right. So very, I would say this is like the Bible. Every black person, every person, right, if you want to get into holistic health, should own this book. Definitely one of the founders when it comes to holistic health.
Nice.
So Lady O Africa, I mean, if those are Heat Nav viewers on YouTube, you can definitely check out a couple of his videos, but definitely a book you should own. I'm a researcher, so I always try to tell people whenever it's an ailment, I go to my books, and he's usually the first book I'm going to go reference. Even if it's something I remember, I'm still going to just verify by going back through the book. All right, and because it just tells you everything from a holistic standpoint, and it just helped me as I studied Kemetic spirituality. He helped me understand just when it comes to understanding holistic, how that's just really focusing on your spirit, your soul, and your body. All right, so you just can't look at health from just what you're consuming, but it's what you're hearing, it's what you're smelling, it's how you feel.
Yes.
All these things affect your overall health. All right, and then understanding that health is not just in the physical realm, but also in your subconscious. So bringing all that together and just trying to come back to one and just make that alignment. So yeah, so that's what it is, referencing the ancestors, meditation, and just constantly just reading and just constantly just building on more knowledge.
Come on, Bruce. Come on. Research. People don't like to research no more. Like the attention span of people, it's been dwindled down to a minute. So if it doesn't fit the minute, then they're done researching. Because this is a thick book. Like, you feel me? Like, I know some people like, dang, that's a lot of pages. But the importance of that is that knowledge, to have that, like, wow, I just love being, like a self-taught teacher, having that just desire to teach yourself.
Yeah, I think that, most times when you go to college, right, you're taking a class to earn a grade.
Yeah.
So, it's something, a lot of times you're not there for your passion, but when you're really passionate about something, when you get to studying and you practicing and you're doing more than just reading the text, when you actually living what you're reading, then it just manifests in a whole different way for you. So, and that's why I found it wasn't about just being healthy. It was just about, like I said, realigning myself with the one. So, yeah, it was. It's a pretty deep journey.
Yes, it is. You have to adapt it. It's a lifestyle. It's your life.
Yes, it is.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then you share that lifestyle with your family as well?
I try.
You try?
All right? So, that's the thing I used to always tell people. Like, I'm like, the products I'm telling people not to buy, I'm like, there used to be a bathroom in my house and all those products in there. The food I'm telling you not to eat, I can open the refrigerator and those foods are in that refrigerator. So, like always, you just got to be a living example, plant those seeds.
Yes.
People, when they're ready, then that seed is sprout. and just be that living example. So that's my best example I can be, other than my words. But no, they say that a prophet is never heard in his own town. So you always got to keep that in mind.
He said, I try, but they're going to do what they're going to do sometimes.
Right.
People got to be ready, I guess, to make that change. I feel that.
Yeah.
I love that. So let's get into Nature's Emporium.
Okay.
Okay. Your store, your place, your safe space. I feel like this is definitely a community safe space for sure. So what was the journey for you with Nature's Emporium? Like, what was the idea of you to bring that to life?
Okay. So here's the thing with me and Nature's Emporium. So during COVID, we were all sitting in the house, right? And everybody online, they looking at different things. I was doing research, because again, I'm a reader, I'm a researcher. So I was looking at when did the, what can I correlate, right? Because everything repeats itself. And I looked and said, okay, what in history or in the past could I actually reference to COVID-19, the COVID outbreak? And that took me back to the Spanish flu. All right, so Spanish flu was like almost exactly 100 years ago. And I was looking at how the people reacted, from those that didn't want to take precautions and versus those that said, I'm going to mask up and not go in public. And I looked at how we behaved as American society. After the Spanish flu, there was a big boom where people want to go out. People want to, because they were stuck indoors.
Right.
So they wanted to be sociable again. There was the economy. They need to pump money back into the economy and stimulate it, because everybody pretty much came to a halt. We live in a capitalist society, so it was important for the economy to get another jump start. So with this understanding, I said, you know what? I said, this is going to be a resurgent of people spending money. So that was one thing I saw. Another thing is I noticed everything has shifted online. Because of COVID, everything had went remote. People's jobs, most stores. Yeah. So everybody's saying, well, the brick and mortar is dead. All right, I'm never one to follow the path of everyone else. If everybody's going left, I'm going to go right. So I was like, even though everybody tell me you shouldn't have a brick and mortar, I say, well, where can you go and actually touch and feel and talk to somebody?
Yes.
I'm like, you don't know if you're talking to a bot, AI, you don't know what's real on the other end. I say, but I know I'm a real person, right? And I'm everyday people. So I said, well, if I had a location where people can actually come in and talk, I'm like, and then, the best experience. It's not a good experience when you go to the store sometimes. If you don't know what something is, you can be frustrated because the people work there can't help you, right?
That's true.
I'm like, well, what if you go into a store and there's somebody knowledgeable? All right, though. I'm like, you know what? And then when I was growing up, one of the biggest things I think that helped save me a lot of times is there was it was a bookstore called the African Heritage Bookstore. It actually was on the north side. And back in my high school days, there was a brother African brother used to own it, and he used to just let me come in there, and I used to just try to stay out of trouble. He'd let me come in there and read. And I mean, just let me read all day long.
Wow.
And I would just read everything, and just sit in the corner and just read. And it was my safe space. And I said, you know what? I want to create a space like that, because if it's somebody that need to just talk or just sit down and be around somebody and be sociable, because that was another thing. We weren't being sociable. And that's something that we need for our own mental health, and a lot of I would say, just as a people, especially not Black people, but us as a people in general, we don't know how to relate to one another. We don't love on one another. So I wanted to create a space where we can do that, where you can have an opinion and not be attacked for your opinion, whether we agree or disagree, and a place where you can see you. Being out here in Waukegan, I mean, I didn't see a lot of places where I could say, well, this is a store where I could see products for me. I can go in and I feel like this is a part of me. I always felt like a visitor, even though I've been out here 15 years. Wow. So I said, I want to have a space where people can come in and they can hear music and hear sounds and hear conversation that can put them in this place that say, this is where I'm supposed to be. All right, so that's what made me think of Nature's Emporium. And then as well as just to, I felt I had a calling. A lot of the herbs and the things, sometimes you're reading, right, and you don't know, like, it's information what you're going to do with it. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Well, I know a lot learn about different herbs. And I'm like, and I understand how they benefit the body, how the plants, the smells, the aromas. I was like, so, you know what? I could share this with our people. And not to mention, I mean, we watched a lot of Black people die during COVID. So we lost a lot of trust for the medical industry during that time. And then I saw a lot of us going back to our roots, and if all of us coming out the South, out the country, you know, we were taking herbs, we were eating off the land. We didn't have medical coverage, but our elders wasn't sick. So I just went back to those seeds that was planted in me that I wasn't listening to the same way my kids don't listen to me. All right, they sprouted and they manifested, and that was Nature's Emporium in the beginning. That's how it started.
I love that. And then you also work with like I think you said you have distribution directly with Ghana, is it?
Yes. So back in 2008, I actually went and visited Ghana, West Africa. So my father, or my stepfather, well, still my father, he's actually gone. So he's from Ghana. And we had to go back. He had his little brother had passed away, and we had to go back for the burial. And I had never been to Africa. So I had took the journey to West Africa, spent a month, and amazing. Definitely was just life-changing for me. And just amazing trip. And I saw so many opportunities there. And one of the things that I wanted to do was to figure out a way that I could travel around the country and to explore, travel around the continent and to explore. And one of those ways was to look in maybe starting an import-export business. All right, so that's what I did. So I started Akana Imports. And what we do is, like the shirt I have on here, we import the fabrics, we make the clothes, the jewelry, and just working with family members and that's in Africa to actually ship the products over here. How through time now you can get products in maybe in 5 days. I've set up because now you got DHL and different shipping services. So things that would take 3 months, now you can turn around in less than a week or within a week. So I created Akana Imports. And under Akana Imports, we have the clothing, and I make a lot of my own salves and tinctures and natural products that's in the store under that brand name as well. And just want us to understand this, the overall global family, how we all connected.
Yes. I just think that's so amazing. A lot of people in Lake County and people of color specifically, you know, we don't think about that. We don't think about how we can amplify, you know, our culture, our Blackness by our products and connecting and having Black shipping and distribution, all of these things. You know, we always go to what's quickest and what's most efficient, and we don't really research. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that they could do something like that. You know, didn't know it was possible.
You know what? Here's the thing. I didn't know either. So it all starts with a thought. You know, it's all what we think about, we put in our mind, and you realize whatever you will is possible. So if you put that thought out there and you focus on it, then you're going to get that result, positive or negative. So when I was in Africa and I was like, man, I want to come back here. I really didn't want to leave. But I said, you know, I got obligations to take care of back home. But how can I make it that I can constantly just come back and forth? I didn't have an answer. I came back to a job. It took a couple years later. But then I realized I was in the process of manifesting what I wanted to actually do. And I just think it's another thing I like to do is try to just show how we're all indigenous, as far as just not here, but across the land. We are original people, and we got this connection with one another, and just breaking down those barriers that sometimes that our past has put up these barriers and these different characteristics through whether it's slavery or basically slavery. I mean, white supremacy that's been put on us and other indigenous people and tribes that keep us apart. So I want to bridge that gap because it's time for us to come back together. I mean, we're in that phase right now. I mean, it is the age of Aquarius, and we moving. You know, and this is just an example of the moves that's taking place. What you doing, what a lot of us are doing, the awakenings that's taking place. I love it, and I'm just want to be just. It's just feeling this whole, the Nature's Emporium is that movement.
Yes.
You know? And it's a communal space. I mean,
let's talk about it. Yes.
You know, we got in the summertime, we keep a table out front with a chessboard, just so people could sit around and talk. We got a tea always boiling in the shop, or you can have any type of libation, a couch in the shop so we can sit around and talk.
Yes.
It's about community building. I mean, sometimes people run in and out. Sometimes they there half the day, you know. And we talking about everything that's important to us, you know. And you don't have to have a filter. You don't have to worry about offending anyone because it's a safe space with love. You know? Yes.
I love that though. And it is love. The minute you walk into the space, you're just filled with love. You're filled with curiosity. I feel like to see what's there, to see the different products, see how, you know, you can start implementing them and using them. Another thing that I love about Nature's Emporium, in addition to it being community, is you allow products from, you know, local members of the community to be sold there or be inside of your shop too. So why is that important to you to do that?
So Dr. Claude Anderson has a book called Powernomics, and that's like a foundation of what I feel that we as a Black people should that's another book we should own. All right. And it speaks to the importance of building a solidarity. All right, with all our institutions, with us as a people, and Nature's Emporium supporting other entrepreneurs is part of Powernomics. All right, it's about building our own brands. If we can work for ourselves, then we can create jobs for ourselves, and then out of those jobs, we can create communities for ourselves because we don't have those anymore. All right, so we need to rebuild those. And what I try to do is give our people opportunity, because the reality is, if you do want to work for yourself, right, that's trying to give you freedom. But if you don't know how to go about doing it, or if someone's always telling you, well, you don't have enough, you need to give me 500 units before I let you put this in the store. You need to have I'm taking the XY percentage for it, and you just figure out, well, I don't know how I'm going to, it discourages a person, right? So I'll find somebody, if they have a quality product, you know, I'll give them the opportunity to say, you know what, let's put this on the shelf for the first 30 days. I don't want any money from you.
Wow.
You know, I want to get your sales up. And then let's talk about how you can sustain yourself in this store.
Yes.
And then from there, hey, branch out to other stores and let's build on that, you know. So I think that's what I always think about when bringing other people products in there as well. Because at one point, I started making with body oils and shea butter out the trunk of my car on 87th in the Dan Run. And selling, I was self-published a book of poetry. And was out there selling my books.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, when you were selling stuff out of the trunk of your car, you didn't have anybody at that time that was like, okay, like, come sell your stuff in my...
No. So that was just it. And that's another reason I've always ran into, well, here was the problem. I would have products, and of course, I'm going to stores in our neighborhoods, but we don't own those stores in our neighborhoods. And the people that do own them don't live in our neighborhoods, nor do they tax dollars go there. So they would smile at me and say, oh, yeah, buddy, that's nice. But then I say, can I put this on your shelf? Then the conversation changed. It was like, okay, you're not coming in as a consumer. All right, so it was like they couldn't see me or understand me as someone that was trying to do business with them. So at that point, I would run into roadblocks. They wouldn't want to tell me no. So you need to put this on your label. You need to have this a certain way. I need to understand where the ingredients is from. So I would, okay, I'm going to go back and put all that on there.
Okay.
You know, then it can be, well, I needed this percentage. I'm like, well, there's no profit in that for me. But then I also had to learn, you know, invest in myself.
Yeah.
All right. So that with running into all those roadblocks, I wanted to try to help streamline some of those things so people wouldn't be discouraged. And I also saw just how many I love, shout out to these millennials. I love how they just was like, I ain't working no job for 60 years. There's no pension, there's no 401k. So he's like, look, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to survive. And I'm like, come on, let's do it.
Okay.
You know, so you coming up with the product, I got the store, we running with it. Let's go.
Yes.
So, man, that's been going on.
I love that. Absolutely. You need people like Bruce, okay? You need people like Bruce in your community. You need people like that. I'm definitely one of those people. When I was starting out and I put out my podcast book, Bruce let me put my book in his store. So I'm definitely grateful for that. I'm grateful for that opportunity. And even just knowing now why you allow that, it just means so much more. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
That's big. So what are some like of the products that you carry in your store? Like what are some of your favorite products that you carry?
So For me, I mean, it's always going to be shea butter first and foremost, because I mean, you don't want to be walking around ashy. First impressions mean a lot, right?
Definitely.
So I would say the shea butter, I've been using it, man, for over 20, 25 years. Great for the skin, great for the children's skin. So that's one I always push, especially with us. A lot of times, you have a lot of skin issues because we're using cheap soap or using basically moisturizers that have a lot of synthetics in there. So it's and just different fragrances that may irritate the skin, right? So I push that. Herbal teas. I'm a big tea drinker, all right? And then a lot of, basically teas are herbs, and herbs is what heal you. So while I love drinking the tea to soothe me, I just understanding the different properties in there, just, man, growing and drinking the tea and enjoying those. And then, let me think. So teas, shea butter, and third, I love scents. So just the body oils.
Yes.
All right. So, and all that's holistic, right? Because the herbs you're putting inside your body, the aromatics properties that you're receiving from the actual scents, and then shea butter as well is a great carrier. So you can put different essential oils in there and absorbs in the skin. So all that's being holistic as well.
Homemade, you make all of those products?
The shea butter I get shipped from Africa sometimes. Then you have the body oils. No, I just basically I buy those and then I don't cut them. So my body oils are nice and strong. I don't actually cut them. And then the third option, what was the one I just said?
The teas.
The teas. No, so here's the thing. Some of the teas we actually do grow the herbs.
Nice. Okay.
So we actually do grow the herbs, and like I fresh mint. I love me some fresh. I got chocolate mint playing around the house, so I sip on that on a Sunday morning or something. Burdock root in the yard. So it's just identifying the different herbs that may grow in your area already, and then, man, cultivating them. But most of them I actually do order from reputable companies.
Nice. Okay, y'all.
Sea moss. All right, I do take a lot of sea moss. I incorporate it in my meals. I have a raw version of sea moss, and I also make the gel myself and store it and keep it in the store as well.
Now, sea moss is definitely still a trending topic when it comes to, wellness. What is the biggest benefit for sea moss? If somebody didn't know anything about it, why would they start taking it?
So it's basically giving you a bunch of minerals. So think about sea moss as a multivitamin. So your body's composed of 102 minerals. It gives you 92 of them. So it's a way of getting those minerals on a daily basis, how that really breaks down, how your nails growing and how your hair growing, help with your digestive system, help with your immune system. So it's your overall body functions that the sea moss helps with. And if you're trying to diet or fast, it helps you not feel feel so low and at a low energy rate because you're not getting nutrients from the food or the garbage that you normally eat. All right, so it helps you to stop eating the salty foods, stop eating the sugary sweets because it's giving you the nutrients that you need, which helps takes away those cravings. So it's a good way. It's something good to consume on a daily basis. I do consume it myself. I mean, I would say it's not for everybody, but for most people, it definitely will help, to consume the sea moss, especially if you have any digestive issues. Yeah.
Okay. See, look, we're trying to give y'all tips now. Y'all been asking, how am I supposed to get this body snatch? How am I supposed to get myself together? You got to digest the right types of things for sure. I don't mind sea moss, though. I mean, it has a little sea taste.
Okay.
But it don't taste,
Yeah, I mean, the gel's good. The gel doesn't really have a taste to it. The powder tastes like the ocean. I'm not big on capsules. I got the capsules as well. Of course, you won't taste those. So that's not too bad. But you can also cook with it. You can use it as an emulsifier or put it in the oatmeal soup. It's good for the kids as well, especially right now with the weather going up and down.
Yes.
It's great for the immune system, though.
Okay, sea moss. That's universal healing, okay? Outside of all of the products that you sell to, like I said before, you are now I feel like more so than ever, just really in the community and trying to figure out ways that everybody can get involved. And you did a community garden.
Yes.
So
I want to, in the store, one of the things we do is make it into community space. I want to send a shout out to my brother, North Chicago Think Tank. All right, Billy Coleman. I love my brother. I love what he does in the community. We connected last summer through Juneteenth.
Nice.
And then from there, we just been linked ever since. Mondays in the Garden initiative to bring healthy initiative to the community. And from there, we actually started doing community programs in the store, celebrating. We had a whole week-long Kwanzaa celebration. We had people coming in. We did an 8-week initiative. We had the community coming in. We talk about cooking. We talk about steeping teas, different meals, setting up table, doing cooking demonstrations, and giving away food. So it's been wonderful. We did a Black History celebration. And so, I mean, it's just been a lot of community building. In addition to that, we do have the community garden, which is across the street from the African American Museum at the England Manor. Much love to Miss Sylvia England. All right. Also a great, I would say for me, I look at her as an ancestor.
Yes.
You know, I wanted to put a community garden in, and I thought this was something people would love to have. And no, it was like people looking at me like, you want to do what? No. No, where you going to do that at? You're not going to get permission to do that. And I was getting frustrated and was like, I don't know what to do. And, you know, and I went like a pouting kid, like, I don't know what to do. And she like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I want to put a garden in, and I don't know why people don't want no garden. We got to grow our own food, you know. And she was like, you can come put it over across the street from me. And I was like, really? And it was a large field. And we took my mother had got a new fence, so she had like the old wood from the fence. She thought the people would take it away, and they didn't. So she's like, what I'm going to do with it? And I'm like, well, you know what? I can make raised garden beds out of it. So we end up making 33 raised garden beds, putting them on the actual land across the street from the museum, which is 503 North Genesee here in Waukegan. We're on the corner of Genesee and Corey. But 503 North Genesee is the African American Museum. Throw that plug in there. So we got 33 raised beds, elderberry trees, apple trees, and then Miss England put a greenhouse over there. And then we were able to bring, through the museum and the programs, we were able to bring in 600 children from the Lake County area just to learn about composting, urban gardening. And it was a very exciting time, you know, and we continuing programs out there. Billy had his North Chicago think tank at the Mondays in the Garden. Then we had Makia Turman out there showing people how to build raised garden beds. That's also who partnered with me out at the garden as well. So I'm just not out there all by myself, right? I did have my sister come out there and also help me put in those 33 raised garden beds.
Yes, I love that. You said 600 kids.
Over 600 kids, thanks to Miss England and her connections through the school system. We were able to over the 2 summers get 600 kids out there, and just learning, you know, about just basically how we can grow our own food and take care of ourselves, you know. Excuse me. And then getting kids out playing.
Yes.
Feet back in the dirt, you know, getting grounded. You know, they don't do that anymore. No. You know, literally putting their hands in the soil and then afterwards throwing around a football and just having them get outside and play. You know, it's very therapeutic. And that's also just ties in holistic health.
Yes.
Yeah.
How does it feel to bring something like that to life and be able to find, you know, an ancestor in Miss Sylvia Schatzman? I love her as well. She's definitely an ancestor for me too. I love her to death. How does it feel to bring something like that to your community?
It's one, I just feel like I'm being obedient. I feel like I'm doing what we all supposed to do, is create community, but it's a natural high. It's a very fulfilling feeling to just to be in the dirt. And I mean, it's therapeutic. Like it's my therapy. And then just to see and hear the children and to see the laughs and the smiles, it really is just it lets loose these endorphins in your brain, and it's just a natural high. And then it just allows me to also just to receive other things that I'm thinking and willing, you know, because it's like just when you obedient and you in alignment, then you get the things you want out of life. You know, it just calms down the chaos. So when people are like, man, you hear about this, you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't know about that chaos. I didn't know about that trauma.
Come on.
And they like, where you been? I'm like, I guess I'm in my own world, you know? So it allows you to just stay at peace.
I love that. We don't want no drama. We ain't trying to deal with that toxicity.
No.
That's gonna bring you down, bring your energy down, all of that. I ain't mad at you. And then you also read to kids.
Yes, so I went into the Waukegan public school trying to be a vendor for Black children's books. So also in the store we carry books. All right, so that was again me growing up, being able to go into a bookstore and feel like that had a lot to do with me staying out of trouble in my youth.
Yeah.
I wanted to provide that. So I started with children's books. So I'm the largest carrier of Black children's books in Lake County. I partnered with Stallion Books out of Chicago, Dr. Calvin Gilchrist, and Stallion Books. Another ancestor, another brother, I feel like. So let me just say that I stand on the back of my ancestors and my elders. All right. So by showing that respect, I go to them, and once they see what I'm doing, they hand me that baton and say, go. So this was the brother that said, hey, you want to sell books? You want to get our history out there? I said, yes, sir. And he provided me that opportunity. And now I am the largest carrier of Black children's books in Lake County. So trying to be a vendor for District 60, I was going in talking to them, telling them what I was doing on my own. Mm-hmm. So I would, on my days off, I would go to daycares, and with me and Bobby Solomon. All right, okay, also shout out to Bobby. All right, so we came together and had put together collaboration, something she was working on, and I was reading the kids, called Mindful Sessions. Right, so you got a Black woman and a Black man, and we going in and we reading the children, and they're seeing what we want to show as us interacting, not arguing. All right, not anything negative, but you see what would be like what the family structure, and we're actually in a playful mood, and we're what we call edutain, right? We're entertaining them, but also educating them through sounds and books. We were doing that at the daycare centers, and then I was explaining this to the district while I was meeting with some members from the district, and they said, we got a program where it's an after-school program, and you're doing literacy. What do you think about coming in and working with that program? So that was STARS, which is a great program.
Oh, shout out to STARS. I was in STARS.
You was in STARS?
I was.
What's up? Shout out to Michael Gonzalez. That's a great program, and Miss Rita Tay too for introducing me and putting me in that position. So great program, and it allowed me to really get into the school system, right? So I actually go to two of the schools, 2 days a week at each one, and I read to them. Now, at first, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to have time to do this, because that's the one thing I don't have. And I was like, man, it's kind of frustrating. But like I say, everything happened for a reason. Everything is divine.
Yes.
I realized it was leading me to these children, right? And I'm like, I don't know if I have time to do this, but I realized they needed me as much as I needed them. Well, I'm like, they need me. And then as I was going through trials and tribulations in my life, I was like, man, you know what? I need them just as they need me. And it made me just open up to the youth. I was also one of these people like, man, what's wrong with these kids? What's wrong with these kids? And the more I started to sit with them and build and learn, I'm like, it's nothing wrong with these kids. No. What's wrong with us? They're a reflection of us. And I said, and they not slow, they brilliant. I'm like, they further than we can understand. It's like we really got to catch up. They on a whole new wave. Yeah. So it was just seeing them and talking to them, and then just really understanding what COVID has done to our children. When it comes to the education, I think that's something that we all need to kind of pull back and love on our children more, and stop pushing them so much as far as trying to push them through school, support those teachers, and then also really, really see what's going on, I would say, at a higher level, to make sure teachers are getting the support and our children are getting the educational, getting their needs met. Yeah. And that, I think that's one of the biggest things I took from it. But yeah, it's another one of those natural highs when I come out of that building reading to them, and they remember the things we talk about. It's wonderful.
I love that. Shout out to the kids. Shout out to the babies. To the babies. I think that's super dope that you take the time out to do that. Just connecting with the kids, connecting with yourself, like replenishing in another way. I think that's so dope. I love mentoring kids, so I always like to see people make time, because they are the future. Yes. They'll be in these positions and they'll be telling us what to do soon. So we should know how they operate a little bit. We should.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a favorite book that you've read to the kids so far?
Oh man, you know what? There's so many, but it's a book. It's a book actually. I'm sold out in my stores, but it's a book of African proverbs, and I can't think of the name of it right now.
Okay.
But basically, I love the book because it's teaching life lessons, and they're things that even as an adult everyone can relate to. So, but it is a book of African proverbs, and they tell you the different tribes they come from, and really they're just things that you may have learned as a child, and they stick with you, they resonate with you, and stick with you your whole life. Because truth is absolute. So when you're given the truth, it just can resonate on different levels at different times as you grow in life. But I do this. I don't want to get a wrong name of the book.
You have to tell me later.
I have to
tell me later so I can have it. But I just wanted to know. I'm sure you've read a whole bunch of cool books, but that's dope. I love that. So what do you see for the future of Nature's Emporium and just your hand in the community? What are some things that you really want to do in the future?
So I would say, as far as with the first question, what I see the future for Nature's Emporium, we're going to expand. All right, so the whole thing is to actually, I'm going to start that process next month. So before the summer's over, I'm going to have like a re-grand opening. And in the re-grand opening, there'll be almost double the space. And then we're going to bring in services like Reiki, massage therapy, reflexology. So those that have been in the store and met Granny Gray, which is also an elder and has become a pillar in the store. I mean, literally, it's a community. It's like going to see that mama, that know what's wrong, even though you say nothing's wrong, and just she's there. She gonna force that hug on you, So she'll be there doing massage, her Reiki massage, and that'll be a new service provided at the store, as well as to bring in fruit stands. All right, so now we growing in the garden, we educating on how to grow and the benefits of the different the different plants and the herbs. Now I want to actually bring in the organic plants that we eat. So this is where you can come get your collard greens, your tomatoes, your bell peppers. So to actually expand it to bring in fresh organic fruit, also to expand the book section. Started with children's books. Want to add a metaphysical section, a history section, and then just different books the books they don't want you to read. You can't find anywhere. Sacred Woman. Like I said, books like this, Elijah Muhammad, Message to a Black Man, all the books that used to be able to find in our Black bookstores that were in our communities. And if we look strategically, I mean, just not here in Waukegan, but across the nation, when you look at the counterintelligence program, one of the things they did to neutralize us is to remove these Black bookstores out of our neighborhoods. All right. So I'm trying to bring this information back so that it's accessible to the people and just not online, because they can remove something online and distort it. But if you got the copy of it, the print, that's something you can hand down from generation to generation.
Yes.
All right. So I think that's so important. It's our intellectual property, and I feel like it needs to be in hands of our people. So I want to be able to provide the literature, provide fresh organic produce, as well as expand with the natural herbs and teas, starting the tea club, starting a garden club, and a book club. All right, so all these things are centered around community, with the space being expanded, being able to hold larger events. Right now we do events, we have about 25-person maximum limit. With expanding the store, we can do double that amount. All right, so that's what I see as far as the store, and that'll happen by this summer, as well as by expanding, providing jobs to people in the community. All right, so that's why I want to show as well, by people investing in the store, it expands, and now we can actually have a place where a person can come and actually enjoy their job.
Yeah.
And I'm caring about your passion. I'm caring about where your heart or soul is. I'm not really caring what's on your background more so than the person that's sitting in front of me. Your background behind you. I'm more concerned about who the person is I'm talking to and seeing today. As far as community, once my brother get back in India,
Billy's gone, right? Yeah,
Billy's in India. Yes, he has shipped, and that's another thing I got to post, because he has sent some wonderful silk scarves, copper. I mean, wonderful, beautiful
Wow.
garments and different material back from different parts of India as well. So I got to display those in the store so everybody can come by and see them, touch them, and if they want to order or purchase some, they can do that as well. But continuing being with my brother, we be out in the gardens on Mondays in the garden. So continue to do that. Working with Miss England over at the museum, with the children and the programs out there this summer, as well as working with Makia as far as gardening programs, building raised beds, even coming to your house if you like to help to build as well. Doing more in the community. We had the back to school block party we used to do for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Still want to have a celebration, but want to kind of switch it up this year.
Okay.
So looking forward with that. And I'm trying to think what else we gonna do, and that's as much or more. I want to put on a fashion show.
Yes.
I would love to put on African fabrics, the dresses, the shirts, and the jewelry and the food.
Yes.
All right, so we cook. I'm a cook too, so we make the jollof rice. And working on actually canning that so that can be in the store as well.
Nice.
So and then eventually take a vacation.
Slide that in somewhere.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a lot. It's a lot going on.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot that's about to happen. But I think everything that you said is amazing, especially providing jobs and just providing other services that people need. I mean, health is wealth. Like that, there's just no way around it. Health is definitely wealth. And I just love how you're so involved in just changing the dynamic of people's health and wellness and the different ways that you can change your life. I just think that's so amazing. And we don't have anything like that in Lake County.
Yes.
We have nothing like that. I'm from Lake County. I'm growing up here. I've never had anything like that as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult. So I just commend you for bringing it. And I hope that other people catch on, and maybe we can have more of that or help you expand it so it can even be bigger, than what it's going to be.
Well, definitely. I would say that that's the one thing I look around. I am seeing it's a movement. There are more Black businesses that are actually popping up, and it's like, but we as Black people have to support them, so they can sustain. They can be around, because that is more jobs. And yes, I look forward to working with them and helping to sustain them as well.
Absolutely. Now, before you go, I just got a few fast questions I got to ask you, because we want to know a little bit about Bruce too, outside of all of the healing, because you the healing. Now, you've traveled a lot of places around.
Yes.
What is your favorite place, or where was your favorite place to go, and why?
Well, I've had this. I love Jamaica. I mean, I just love Jamaica. I love going up in the mountains, just taking my shoes off, running around. Mm-hmm. To me, I just love any countryside. It really remind me just like of being in the country in the South, right?
Okay.
All right, that's the same feeling I get when I go deep into my people's from Alabama, but when you go deep into the country and you're in that red dirt, that red clay, I feel like that's the same feeling I get when I get out of Montego Bay and I go up in the mountains. I want to take my shoes off. I want to get on the bike. I just want to walk by the river, So I don't know. I feel like I got a strong connection there. So that's throwing me, and I think because it's usually quick getaway.
Okay.
So that's normally I would say one of my favorite destinations to go. But I'm sure once I go back to the continent of Africa, which I will be doing soon, there's just so much more to explore there as well. And that's something I want to say as well. When I got there, it was like a feeling of somewhere I know I had been before, right? And I'm like, it's still Earth. I'm like, I feel like if I didn't know I was in Africa, I would have just thought I was in Jamaica, at first sight with getting off the plane, just with the smell and the feel of everything that was there. But it still felt like home.
I love that. I've never been.
You should go.
So I definitely got to go now.
You definitely should.
I want to put my feet in some red dirt, red clay.
Yeah, you definitely can. Well, you see, you can go right down south for that too.
Yeah. Definitely, I love that. So, would you consider yourself a daytime person or a night owl?
I used to be a nocturnal person, right? But now I pretty much I try to stay in alignment with the universe. So I try to rise with the sun and I try to lay with the sun. So that's what I try to do. I just try to stay in alignment with everything that's going on around me, because we all part of nature.
Yeah.
So I do my best. It don't always work out that way. I mean, just like others, sometimes I'm restless and I can't sleep. But what I start to notice is I'm not alone. So if I had a restless night and couldn't sleep, I find out as I'm going through the day, I'd be like, how'd you sleep last night? And I may find people like, nah, I didn't really sleep. Well, I was up. I got up at 3 in the morning, 3:30, and I was just up. And I'd be like, well, me too. So I'm just starting to notice the correlation more so with others, but more so I'm just going to stay with the rotation of the earth and the sun. So when the sun rise, I rise.
Yes.
When it's set, I at least try to like to be in the house and then winding down from the day. I mean, before then, I would be up all night. Now, I will say when I'm on vacation, I'm out.
You up. You a night out in.
I'm howling at the moon. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm definitely a morning person. I love to get up early.
Okay.
I like to get up with the sun as well. So I like that. What is your perfect meal? If you just had one meal that you could eat or had to eat, I should say, for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Well, it's funny you say that because I usually do. Basically, I eat the same thing.
Okay.
Red beans. All right, that's the staple just from my childhood. And I know it's not the small kidney, it's not the small navy bean. I add a little baking soda in there somewhere about the gas. But I make a bomb bean. I feel like I can be in a contest because my beans are bomb.
Okay.
With no meat in there, but they taste like you got some smoked turkey in there. But I would say red beans, jollof rice, which is a West African dish. It's a tomato-based rice, and I like it with some spice, with some heat in there, and jerk cabbage. And that's my meal. All right, I like to saute that cabbage, the jerk. If you never had jerk cabbage, and I actually got a video of me doing that too. I got to put that out there.
Oh yeah.
But that's my meal right there: some red beans, jollof rice, and some jerk cabbage, and I'm good. I can eat that every day of my life.
Yeah, you got me with the jerk cabbage. You definitely got me with that. I love cabbage.
Okay.
But the jerk cabbage. Okay, you did it with that. I love that. What's the greatest piece of advice you've ever been told?
Don't focus on the problem. Focus on the solution.
Come on now.
Because you can sit and complain all day, but that's just a distraction. All right, all you can do if you got a problem, first, you don't have a problem because everything is divine. Understand the lesson. And then so just focus on the solution. That's all you can do.
I love that. Definitely. If you could go back to any decade in time, what would it be?
Any decade in time? Well, see, I was born in the 80s. So, I mean, so I was the 80s, but I was born in 1980, I should say.
Okay.
I don't know, because it just depends on how I look. I feel like if I was in the 60s, I would have been a Black Panther, but then again, I would probably be dead under the jail. So I don't know if I really want to say that.
You definitely giving Black Panther.
So I don't know if I want to say that. I thought I'd been a hippie, but I say no, I would have had to stick with my peoples at that time. So I mean, I would love to have been in the Harlem Renaissance because we were Black and beautiful.
Yes.
But then again, we would still be hung from trees too. So
yes.
I don't know. I think everything has its bitter and sweet. So I would have to say, man, them 80s, right?
Okay.
For me, because we had communities. I grew up in a Black community. Like, even though I lived at 43rd, I grew up in Inglewood, and I say a community called Inglewood because, we went, I seen when my grandmother would take me to the bank or to the doctor, it wasn't downtown, it was on 63rd and Halsted, and I went and saw people that looked like me, shot with people that looked like me. We had block parties, you had green grass, it was neighborhood. So I think for me to experience that, I feel bad for a younger generation in that way because we no longer have those communities, A lot of people just moving around. You stay here for a year, or like I would say Lake County now is becoming Cook County,
Yeah.
I see so many more people that are from my area, or I just hear they talk and I'm like, I know you from the west side or you from the south side. I know you're not originally from here, and we migrating this way. And it's like, I just feel like we don't have that sense of community. Grandmama, you over here, who you know over here? You know, that's such and such cuz and such grandma. You know, you don't have that connection. In the 80s, I think we were just more together as Black people across the nation. So, yeah.
I like that. That's a good answer. I like
Okay.
that. I like that explanation. I definitely feel like I had a little bit of it. I mean, I'm in the 90s. I mean, but I had a little bit of that. Growing up here, you know, my grandparents lived on the same block all my life. My parents was raised on that block.
Okay.
So, you know, we could be on that block till 1 a.m. because everybody knew who our people were. So it was like a sense of community safety. You know, we still kind of have some of that. It takes a village. So I like that aspect because I think it's true. We don't have that now. We don't have a lot of elders. We don't have a lot of that transition of passing the torch, I'll say, as far as keeping traditions alive and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to just send a special thank to Miss Frida Roberts, who's a North Chicago retired teacher. She works in the shop as well as Granny Gray, which is Miss Gwendolyn as well. They come in the shop so I can go read to the children.
Oh.
All right, so that was the one of the things I was like, I won't be able to do this if I can't go read. And they say, no, I'm gonna come sit in here and you go read to them babies. It's just showing you that's that community that's there. They like, no, you need to go read to them. So I'm gonna come sit in this shop while you go do that. And one of the things I see a lot of times is that I see adults come in and they'll see Miss Roberts and they turn into kids again because I realize, or she'll say, didn't I teach you? And I'm like, wow. And I just see the reaction that she gets and just the change in their vibration and their whole body movement and just the sound in their voice. And I can see it's taking them back. And one of the things I was talking to one of the people in the store, they said the biggest thing is she lived in the neighborhood. They was like, so you would have to, you know, respect her because later on, you was gonna see her in the neighborhood, so you know she could easily tell your parents, or she gonna say something to you. So I just think that I just wanted to shout them out because they are a big part of Nature's Emporium, but a big part of the community, and also just I learned a lot from opening the store about Lake County. I thought there was no Black community, there was no Black stores. I learned about Frog Island. I learned about the Black community that was now, I guess, by the Amstead, which it shocks me. They say if you ever want to find a black neighborhood, identify one, you just find any expressway in the United States. And then that used to be a Black community, a Black neighborhood. So when they were like, there was a Black neighborhood, was a Black community, and it's where the Amstead is, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. But just to hear about just how Black people actually migrated to this area and just had to support one another, you know. And so I was proud to hear about the Black businesses that was once down Sheridan Road. And again, even though I'm not from Lake County, I took in that same pride. And I'm like, well, I want to help rebuild that. I want to help be a resurgent so these kids can also have a part of that, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And the Genesee projects a lot. I mean, they changed a lot of stuff there. That's crazy though that you mentioned as far as the highway. That's crazy for sure. But we're trying to, you know, bring some of those old things back in a new way. And again, I just commend you for having this space that really is like a staple. And I think a lot of people don't know how impactful it really is. So I hope through this interview and just hearing your story and hearing your passion that they will take into consideration the ways that they can change their community and themselves, you know, and yourself.
Yes, each one teach one. That's something we used to say back in the day, and I think that's something we need to continue to do. And then also, I just learned there's nobody coming but us, right? There's nobody we should be waiting on. If you don't like something, get up and do something about it. Say something about it, and you'll be amazed at what your actions spark and how it can change and inspire people. So I just hope that we all start doing this nationwide, having your stores, your community centers, your gardens, all right?
Yes.
Most importantly, grow. That's not even outdoors, really, and that's a good thing to grow outdoors, but we need to learn how to do indoor hydroponic gardening. The environment is not the best, so we got to learn how to grow indoors. There's going to come a time where we need to learn these basic skills again, right? And now is the time to learn, all right, because there's some days ahead. Because in order to get to where we're going to have to go through some things, and we need to get prepared.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again for coming on Aspire to Inspire. Like I said, I just love your knowledge and just everything that you shared with me today. I hope the community takes that in. So please let us know where Nature's Emporium is, how we can connect with you, how we can be involved.
Definitely. All right. So I'm located at 1101 West Greenwood Avenue in Waukegan, Illinois. I'm on the corner of Greenwood and Linden. We open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 6:30. We give away complimentary juice every Saturday. And then I tell the different health benefits of the juice. We have a medical student that comes in twice a month, talk about hypertension, talks about diabetes and other different diseases that are plaguing us as Black people, to talk about how we can address those in a natural, holistic way. You can connect with me through social media on Instagram. I'm NTR_Emporium. On Facebook, I'm Nature's Emporium Shop. On TikTok, I'm Nature's Emporium Shop. On YouTube, I'm Nature's Emporium Shop. And let's see. And you can shop online at naturesemporiumshop.com. Be patient with me with the website. I'm also the web designer as well. So I'm uploading, I'm updating it. So 85% of the stores on there, but not all of it. And then we'll be in the garden, 503 North Genesee. Our first program will be our spring cleanup. So we got to clean up the garden bed. So if you want to come out, learn, help, definitely look for that information. There'll be a page on the website dedicated to the garden. And then we're just starting our different events. We're going to be out there barbecuing, playing spades, playing live music. Well, not live, playing music, jazzing in the garden, just sitting around trying to build community, a sense of community again.
Yes, I love it. Make sure you guys follow Nature's Emporium on all sites, all social media, to make sure that you get involved. Stop by, see Bruce, buy some products, learn something, come out Saturdays and get some of that juice. It's fire. Okay, get some of that tea. It's good. All of that good stuff. So thank you again. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Aspire to Inspire with me, Robin E. Make sure you guys follow Lake County Media on all platforms to see all of the latest episodes. Keep thriving.